the first thing I would say, my first response to The Chosen, which I started watching in part out of curiosity and in part because it had become a cultural phenomenon, and I was curious about that.
Well, and how many people were telling you? Like, you probably had viewers and listeners going, yeah,
well, there was buzz everywhere.
Well,
right?
Because Christians all over the world have looked at you for the last several years as almost like a gateway drug into Christianity, but still hoping, when is Jordan Peterson, like, do you believe? Have you bent the knee?
Right, I know.
How many people have asked you? How many Christians have you met have gone, so do you believe Jesus rose from the dead?
No, they ask me something worse. The question usually is, do you believe in Christ exactly the same way I claim to? Right. It's like,
yeah, people are competing for Dr. Jordan Peterson to bring them into their fold the correct way.
Yeah, well, and that's, that's fine, I suppose, but it's there's
something very sweet about it, too.
Yes, that's what I mean by it being fine. It's just, it's something like, look to your own salvation. That's my fundamental attitude towards that. With regards to The Chosen, I mean, I was watching it with my wife, and she had undergone quite a profound religious transformation not too long before we started watching The Chosen. And so,
what about your daughter? Because Michaela had a similar. She just decided to surrender and give her life to Jesus, and then
she had a very powerful experience that preceded that. And so, But I watched The Chosen with Tammy, and so I was watching her watch it and seeing her response. The first response I had was relief. The relief was, I can watch this, because I'm very sensitive to propagandistic intent. I don't like it at all. Yeah. Even a bit of it is a turnoff for me. And I thought, no, it kind of reminded me a bit of The Master and Margarita. Do you know that book?
I don't.
Oh, you need to know The Master and Margarita. It's an absolute staggering masterpiece of Russian literature. It's a story written in the 1930s by a man named Bulgakov. Satan comes to Earth in the Soviet Union, and he can do whatever he wants because no one believes he exists.
Sure.
And then there's a backstory. This is why it would be so relevant to you. Bulgakov tells the story of Christ and his experience with his disciples in a manner that's analogous to what you're doing. And it's a brilliant book. It's like Dostoevsky level brilliant.
Well, then that probably eliminates me as a reader, but I'll try.
I think you'd find it. It's a fascinating multi-level book. And I also really like Nikos Kazantzakis' work. He did Zorba the Greek, for example, which is a book most people know about, but he wrote a variety of stories that have a very, is it The Temptation of Christ? Is that the name of the book? I can't remember at the moment. He did a variety of
I wish I could help you.
He produced a variety of stories that are similar to what you're doing with The Chosen.
Sure.
So I was, and then I thought, well, do I find this interesting, independently of my religious convictions or lack thereof? And the answer to that was yes. I really enjoyed it, which was really what I was hoping for. You asked me a more specific question.
What did you think of the things like Jesus brushing his teeth in a stream, which seem normal, but to an average Christian, they've never thought of it
part
before.
Of the insistence, the Christian insistence since time immemorial, was that Christ was fully God and fully human.
Yes.
So the human part needs to be demonstrated with a commitment that's equal to the divine part. And I thought, I couldn't see how that could have been handled better than the manner in which it was handled in your series. And I found myself more than pleased to continue watching.
I'm going to put that on our poster.
Well, it's a hard...
Dr. Jordan Peterson, more than pleased to continue watching.
Yeah, well, it was like I said, it was a relief because you avoided all of the cliched temptations of the easily parodied evangelical tradition.
Yes.
Right? That's a hard thing to pull off. And I also thought this is something else. It's beautiful.
Yes.
That's seriously important. The cinematography is top rate. The acting is top rate. Like, the quality of the production is extreme, because you can use it as an excuse. You see, another part of the problem with propagandistic religious entertainment is that it's often low quality, and you're supposed to pretend that doesn't matter.
You think it doesn't have to be good. So.
Well, it's about God. So, how high quality does it really have to be?
Right.
It's of the highest possible quality.
Right.
Independent of the religious message. And I thought the acting was great, and I wanted to know what was going to happen next. It was a real cliffhanger. Yeah. And so I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the continuing seasons.